Ladies and gentlemen, the show you've all been anxiously awaiting. According to my expert source, is Brandon in here? He had to go. Ignite first started in the CEO retreat in 2014. Then they moved it to Virginia Beach. I missed that one, unfortunately, 2015. That's one of the selections for your enjoyment that particular year. In 2016, we were at the Westin in Marriott in Chantilly, Virginia, right? Under the wings of Dulles Airport. And I've taken Jeff DeCoste, I was in his session. I chose well. He was good. But I think about a few minutes into this thing, Jeff was wound up, we were engaged in his material, and this voice comes through that air wall. Anybody was in 2016? Anybody there? Anybody there? Who was that voice? Unbelievable. No, Rachel Van Loo. And you know what? She's here today. So I want you to have that benefit of that same voice for those that missed that. And on behalf of our veterans and our first responders, we have a little special treat. Play ball! And ever since then, Ignite has been open to all. For good reason. Thank you, Rachel. That was unbelievable. Okay. Let's welcome the 2019 Ignite presenters. Please welcome Abby Tammen, one of the newly minted Associate Leader Virginia graduates, mother to 2 busy twins, and wife to her amazing husband, Doug. Abby.
Excellent. I have found that there are life lessons everywhere, whether you're running a conference, standing at the bus stop with your kids, even reading t-shirt slogans. My family's given me some really unique perspective lately. In this picture coming up, my daughters, Ava and Emily, can be seen standing at the bus stop, crossed arms, giving some sass, but they showed up in the moment and they stayed there to pose for that family picture. Our next two messages come from the bus stop. The girls knew that the weather would be warm in the afternoon, but cool in the morning at 7 a.m. So Ava, on the right, dressed in blue, is wearing a shirt that reads, "Strong and brave like Daddy." It reminds her of her dad, and she knows that when they're not together, he's still with her. And then she paired it with those knee-high Santa socks. They're just rocking. That morning, she knew that those socks would keep her warm, and it didn't matter to her what I thought of those socks. I tried to talk her out of it, but she still wore them. She knew that if you were bold and confident within yourself, it didn't matter what other people thought. So rock those socks in April. In middle school, I learned to surround myself with great people. This posse became a group that I could rely on. They helped me have fun, they kept me grounded, and they were also very honest in their feedback. Be sure to find your posse. While attending JMU, I knew that book smarts were important, but I also knew it was important to open yourself up to what the universe was telling you. I was thankful that I was listening because one of my graduate advisors handed me a job ad off of a fax machine. Do you remember those? And said, "You should apply for this." You have to listen to those advisors. That recommendation turned into a summer internship and then a full-time job with the National Association of College Auxiliary Services. Working with associations, I learned that success comes from solid preparation with a very healthy dose of flexibility. Dr. Bob Hassmiller in the black t-shirt and I worked together at NACIS for a decade. He grew to be the boss that became a father figure, a confidant, and a very trusted advisor. It was his genuineness, generosity, self-deprecation, and unwavering support of his staff that made me want to emulate him. 1 year before conference, he gave us this t-shirt. It reads, "It is what it is." It was his reminder for us to be in the moment. We had done our preparation, enjoy what we had made. Bob tragically passed away in a biking accident in 2016 at age 70. I've made it my personal mission to try and emulate his leadership style. One area that he liked was humor. This is a cartoon of a Dilbert commercial that he had sent to me, and he sent those cartoons 2 or 3 days a week for a decade. He loved humor. Good leaders drink in the wisdom of others, and they just generally drink. I'm never without a water bottle or a coffee cup. Come on. Those things keep me energized, and it also gives me a chance to go to the water cooler or the kitchen or the coffee pot and mingle with those staff members. Just like the song Anna and Elsa and the two figures that we're standing in front of, sometimes you just have to let go. Let go of the anger, let go of your frustration, and be in the moment. The stilt walker coming up in this picture is a really good reminder to lean in and be with the person that's right in front of you. Take in their wisdom and think of just them. We have geese that live near our office, and I'm telling you, they only come out when I'm in a hurry. We're constantly having to stop for these geese, but my daughters, even from the back seat, have said, "Mom, be patient, be in the moment, and enjoy the surroundings that you have." I've recently learned to enjoy the surroundings of the gym, and those of you who know me know that I hate to sweat, so this is a new one for me. Ultimately, I came to learn that making myself the priority is really important for how I lead and am an employee and a mom and a wife. So who doesn't like a selfie at the gym at 7 a.m.? It looks like chaos, but this desk has all the resources that I need. It allows me to power through a to-do list and help my volunteers be successful in the association. So you'll see double screens, food, a label maker, tissues, family pictures, a to-do list, all great things that help make me a better leader. Just like on top of my desk, there's good things in the desk. This is a folder of notes of appreciation that I've received over the years, and it's a reminder to me to bring them out, read them, and remember the good times. This is probably the craziest piece of mail I've received. It was a note from a speaker that arrived with a burn hole in it, with a note from the post office apologizing for its condition. So even the USPS can teach us a leadership lesson. They took ownership and they said, "We're sorry, but we're still gonna deliver that mail." Today, I want us to remind everybody to celebrate your success. Champagne should not be saved for just special occasions. Drink it. Drink in the people, drink in the wisdom, and enjoy life. This ending one is my favorite leadership message. It's a coaster that sits on my desk, and it says, "You've got this." It reminds me to maintain, withstand, survive, persevere, no matter what's happening. So, You can find leadership lessons everywhere. I want to remind you today that you are bold, you are brave, and you've got this.
Way to go. Way to go. Thank you, Abby. Excellent. Excellent. Next up, Barbour. She's got her own fan club here. Communications, media manager, SIG leader, but she works at the Independent Insurance Agents of Virginia. Allie, all yours.
So my name is Barbour, and with His Story Isn't Over, I hope to ignite your feelings on a very important topic. This is a very personal story, and I'm going to tell it on behalf of my cousin Philip. I just wanted to tell you that I want to make an impact in this room. So, when you see this symbol, what do you think of? Before February 21st, 2017, I would have only been seeing what you may be seeing, punctuation. Today, I see a story that has changed courses but is not over. That's Philip's story. In 2013, a girl named Amy Bluell lost her father to suicide. She made a mission to prevent the prevention of more suicides by getting a semicolon tattoo. Why a semicolon? A semicolon is when an author could have ended a sentence but chose not to. My cousin Philip ended the chapter of his story here on Earth, but his story is far from over. My sisters and I decided to get semicolon tattoos to honor his story. I love when someone asks about my tattoo, as it gives me a brief moment to tell his story and maybe make an impact. To me, the semicolon is more than just a moment to pause. It's a moment to breathe. It's a reminder that pause in a situation where something feels like it's going all wrong. A reminder to all of us the passion and power that compassion can really hold. Philip was basically my little brother. We spent a lot of time together as children. He was my very first best friend. We butted heads a lot. My granny would often say to us, "Y'all, please don't fight today." But we loved each other big. Mental illness and depression don't care whether you're a star athlete with lots of friends or the kid that struggles to hold a conversation. Whether you're an 18-year-old boy or a 90-year-old woman, it affects anyone at any time, financial situation, education, or status. Flip to his friends was a very popular kid, handsome and well-dressed, loved his friends and family the same. Although, let's be real, I was his favorite. He was an honor graduate and graduate of merit, accepted at every school he applied to, his top choices being FSU and Hampden-Sydney. I tell you all of this because on the outside, Philip had it all. Star baseball skills, fast red Mustang, lots of friends, tons of ladies. But underneath all of that, there was a lot of struggle and demons to take care of that in the end were just too much to bear. Mental illness can take a lot of forms. It is treatable, but unfortunately because of the stigma surrounding it, it goes untreated. It often leads to isolation and sombering statistics. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in youth 15 to 24 years old, and 10th in all Americans. The love he left with others through his infectious smile and fun personality are obvious from all the posts made after he passed and still popping up from time to time. All words of him being a good friend and a good teammate, offering a listening ear when someone needed it most. This next picture is one of my absolute favorites. I had a red car at my house that I loved. Well, Philip got one for his birthday and kept it at our granny's, and in my head, that was mine too. So here you see me, very proud of myself, to pose for a picture as he sits on the ground in tears. I wanted to tell you this story because although this was many years ago, we would still bicker about whose car that really was. We talked about how much cooler we were than our other cousins because him and I had that bond. You never know the impact you can make on someone from kicking them out of a car. I say Philip's story isn't over because of the impact he made on this world in his almost 19 years. This is one of the photos that he had with him on the day he took his life. This is both heartwarming and heartbreaking for me to know that I was with him in those final moments. I'm going to tell you to take action. Pay attention to mental health and encourage it in others. Support a loved one, friend, or colleague that's going through a hard time, or maybe you know struggles with depression. Encourage people that it is okay to talk about suicide. Give. You can give to organizations like Project Semicolon or the American Foundation for Prevention of Suicide. You can make waves in this community. You can also give your time to these organizations by way of volunteering. Talking about suicide and the great impact it has on families is so important. You never know the impact and the hurt you leave on your family when you're gone. Talking about the loss, in my opinion, is a good way to prevent further suicides. The struggles of suicides don't just fall on one person. They go well beyond that one decision. So looking at someone from the outside and knowing what they're feeling on the inside are very different. From the outside, Philip had it all. He was a happy, healthy person. But on the inside, he was hurting so deeply. Depression can be complex and hard to understand, even when you're the one experiencing it. Here are some common symptoms of depression from the Cleveland Clinic. I encourage you to look for these in those you love and those you spend time with. You can look for these and before they present themselves, people don't know that they need help. How can you insert a semicolon into your lives, whether you struggle with mental illness or depression or not? Remember to pause and breathe. Your story is not pointless. I encourage you to talk about this and think about this, and maybe just offer a smile.
Excellent, Allie, excellent. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, our next presenter is Pamela Flynn, one of the newest members or newer members of the Osmond Associate Dynasty. They're here today. But she brings years of event management experience with her with that move. Today she will share her experience in DIY. That's do it yourself. It took me a while to catch this one. And that was before last night. Cleaners, and explains how it's easy to transition to healthier cleaning options in your home. Let's hear what she has to say. So welcome.
Need to freshen the air first. And I'm going to do what Allie told me to do. I'm going to take a moment to breathe. Hit it. Do you know what comes into your house every time you clean something? I didn't, and I was shocked when I found out. My name is Pamela, and I'm going to tell you about my 3-year journey with natural cleaning, including simple and do-it-yourself cleaners. A couple of years ago, I took a class on how to make your own bath and beauty products, and I loved it. The science nerd in me thought, I could do this with my cleaning products, especially since manufacturers are not required to tell you every ingredient they put into their product. So the first thing you need to know about natural cleaning is there's more than one way to clean something. Polishing chrome, you can do that with rubbing alcohol or vinegar. The second thing you need to know is check your sources. Use reliable sources. Yes, you can go on Google, YouTube, or even Pinterest, but people have wrong information out there. But don't worry, I have some reliable resources for you today. The third thing you need to know is start small. Replace one toxic cleaner in your home. If you do a DIY recipe, choose 1 to 3 ingredients, or use smaller percentages. My heart is racing. All right, so baking soda. Baking soda is king. You can do so many things with baking soda. Freshen things. You have grout, you want to clean it, mix it with some hydrogen peroxide, and you can clean your grout. You can use it on carpet to deodorize. It's just perfect. Castile soap is a vegetable-based soap. Usually it's olive oil. Dr. Bronner's is the main producer of this soap. I use it with an all-purpose spray. 2 cups of distilled water, 1 teaspoon to 1 tablespoon of soap. Essential oils. Essential oils come from trees, plants, or flowers. They have both scent and therapeutic products. I actually have a 25% off code if you want it for this week. And if you don't care about therapeutic products, just use fragrance oils. Hydrogen peroxide, you got a stain, it will take care of it. I mentioned earlier with baking soda, you can use it to clean grout. You see these are my stain cleaners. The one on the right is 2 parts hydrogen peroxide, 1 part dish soap, spray it on your clothes, throw it in the wash, or you can actually put hydrogen peroxide directly into your bleach component of your washing machine. For lemons, I cut mine up, put it in an ice cube tray, pour over vinegar, and use it to clean my garbage disposal. You can also use it to clean a cheese grater without hurting your nails. So rubbing alcohol is excellent. So I do make a laminate floor cleaner, and I also make a granite cleaner. You cannot use vinegar on granite, it will etch it. I also use it to make a disinfectant, 50-50 blend with distilled water. You can also use that to clean your screens, cell phones, and your tablets. Sal Suds is also made by Dr. Bronner's. It's a detergent, not a soap. I use it in my DIY dish soap, and I also use it in my carpet cleaner. It's tough on grime and grit. Vinegar is the second king in my household. I use it everywhere. I use it in my fabric softener compartment in my washing machine. You can use it as dishwasher rinse. You can use it to clean your tea kettle out. You can use it in your yoga mat cleaner. Vodka. Most of you drink it. Most of you drink it. I spray it. So the one on the left is what I sprayed just a minute ago. Makes a great room cleaner. It takes the place of Lysol or Febreze. 50-50 blend with distilled water. Washing soda. Washing soda is the stronger cousin of baking soda. It can clean anything, dishes, kitchen, bathrooms. You cannot use it on aluminum pots or fiberglass, so you have to be careful. When you're speaking about being careful, there's certain things you cannot mix. You cannot mix vinegar with baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, or Castile soap. They're great cleaners separate, but together they don't do anything. Make sure you read your labels. I don't remember that. So resources, the environmental working group. Take a cleaner that you have at home, type it in, see if it gets an A, B, C, D, or F. Most cleaners in America are C through F. The cleaners I just showed you are all A's or B's. Clean My Space. Melissa Maker out of Toronto, Canada, started her own cleaning business. She has a book, a website, and also a YouTube channel, and she sells her own microfiber cloths. She has the best DIY recipes out there. There are 3 other resources that I use. One is livesimply.me. She also does body products. Bren did, and also Dr. Bronner, Lisa Bronner, Dr. Bronner's granddaughter, has a YouTube channel and also a blog. So they are reliable resources. The best resource coming up is trying it out. This is going to be my new YouTube channel. That is what my kitchen looks like when I get ready to get into my laboratory and make all my fun stuff. So I look forward to sharing with you what I do. Thank you.
All right. Don't rush off. Wait. Step right there. Pamela's an overachiever. Not, everybody in this room, or most of you in the room, have put on meetings. You are wired for your meetings, right? She's putting on this meeting with Osmond Associates and still opted to participate at Ignite. I think she deserves another round of applause for that. Next up is the incomparable Sarah Marshall, membership advocate at the Virginia Dental Association. Check out the smile on this young lady. It's all yours.
Hi, I'm Sarah Mattis Marshall, and I'm going to teach you how to remove your own stitches in the Canary Islands. Please note, this is a story about a watershed moment in my life, something that set me on a path to realizing my own potential. So, step 1, don't. Your own watershed moments will be different than mine. I hope that by sharing my story, that you'll feel inspired to share your own stories, and that we'll share stories together of taking charge of our destinies. Step 2. Find out you have cancer. 2 days before I was set to leave on a master's degree research trip to the Canary Islands, and while I was caring for my mom, who just had surgery, I get a call from my dermatologist that I have basal cell melanoma and I need to hightail it to Williamsburg to get it excised. Step 3, get that cancer cut out of you. I drove back to Williamsburg, had an excision, went out for pancakes, drove back to Ken Island. My mom lent me one of my grandfather's handkerchiefs to keep covered on my trip, and while I drove her to her physical therapy appointments. Step 4. Is against the advice of your doctor, decide you can remove your own sutures and get your mom to teach you how. Pictured here is a crude reenactment of my mom, who's a nurse, teaching me proper suture removal procedure. Okay, slightly improper procedure. Step 5, travel to the Canary Islands. From Williamsburg to Ken Island to Philly, I traveled to Lanzarote, the northernmost island in the Canarian archipelago off the northwest coast of Africa. Traveling with stitches meant having to explain to security why I had blunted scissors in my carry-on, among other things. I arrived safe and sound and took up residence in a small village of Tabiesco in the northwest corner of the island. I unpacked my wound care supplies and walked down to a slightly larger village on the coast for dinner. Step 6 is laugh at the stars. Pretend this guy is me or you. You're alone by the beach on your first night. You look up at a sky full of stars, and all you can do is laugh at your own audacity for taking on such an adventure. Step 7, research archaeology and wait till it's time to take out your stitches. I'm on Lanzarote to complete my master's research in historical archaeology. My thesis was about the production of red dye from cochineal beetles that grow on cactus. I studied this mainly through the types of ceramics left behind by the people producing this dye. The ceramics, from countries around the Atlantic, tell the story of the importance of this dye in the greater Atlantic economy. Pictured on the next slide is the estate at the center of my research, surrounded by former cochineal fields rolling down to the ocean. You can see them in this picture in the middle, terraced by lava stone rocks. Once prosperous, it now tells the story of what happens when you don't adapt to adversity. Back to my own adverse situation. Step 8, take a quick suture removal refresher course. This is the screenshot from my phone in August of 2013. I wanted to make sure I had a handy guide before I yanked some thread out of my chest. Step 9, prepare your supplies. First, sterilize your tools, in this case a pair of tweezers and a borrowed pair of suture scissors from my mom. Gather your supplies, including gauze, medicine tape, Neosporin alcohol wipes, and liquid courage. Peel off your bandage, clean the wound site, and you're ready. Step 10, brace yourself. Here's the scene, everybody. I've got everything ready, and I am freaking out. Looking at this picture brings back all the fear and adrenaline like it was yesterday and not 5 or 6 years ago. Step 11, remove those stitches. Fear aside, you have a job to do. Carefully lift each knot, cut below the knot, take a deep breath, take a lot of deep breaths, and then pull each thread out. Step 12, keep covered despite sweltering temperatures. You have to keep the sun off your wound no matter how hot it gets, and it got a lot hotter than this. Almost all of my selfies from the trip feature Pop-Pop's handkerchief. The result, of course, is that anytime you're near the beach, and any beach in the Canary Islands is full of tan people in swimsuits, you, on the other hand, look a lot like Mr. Bean. It's a look, right? It's all part of the adventure. Step 13, have adventures. And you should have adventures. You know, like get super lost, be really thankful for GPS, steal a hat, give it back, sneak into a museum for free with a German tour group, pretend to be German, eat lunch cooked on a volcano, go to a pharmacy for mail-ox, mix up your Spanish, and be handed a pregnancy test. Step 14, stop and enjoy the sunset. After 3 weeks full of adventures I couldn't have dreamed of or had nightmares about, it was good to just stop, enjoy the sunset, and reflect on what I'd accomplished. Step 15, get another surgery. Guess what? They didn't get it all. Did this faze me? No. This trip taught me that I am so much more capable than I give myself credit. You are so much more capable than you give yourself credit. And hopefully, you don't have to remove your own stitches in the Canary Islands to figure that out.
Excellent. Don't run off. Excellent. And ladies and gentlemen, what was step 1? Don't.
Thank you.
Next is Susan Park. There you go. Come on, let's hear it. Here for Susan Park. Executive Director of the Coastal and Estuarian. Federation, an association of coastal scientists. Well, we've got a lot of those in the VSAE, of course. She is herself an oceanographer by training and has worked to the intersection of ocean science and policy for her career. She joined them in 2016, and she's a new member of our association family. Welcome, Susan Park.
Thank you. So, I never wanted to be a leader. In fact, if you had asked me 3 years ago if I wanted to lead an organization, I would have emphatically said no. But somehow today I find myself the executive director of an association. So why did I not want to be a leader, and what has that taught me about leadership? First, a lot of it is cultural. I'm Korean American, and I'm very proud of my heritage. I'm so proud of my immigrant parents for moving to this country and working really hard to give me and my sister a better life, while still immersing us in what it means to be Korean, such as food and family. But being Korean American, and particularly in my family, I heard a lot of messages that were counter to my becoming a leader. Now, these are certainly not unique to my upbringing, so perhaps some of these resonate with you as well. So first, Koreans are very patriarchal. The leaders are usually men. I have a book that traces my ancestry back 76 generations, but they've only listed the men. In my family, the men were generally in charge and women were often deferential. So I was also taught that I needed to be the best at everything and that failure is not an option. So for example, in the 8th grade, I got a B in a class and my mom made me go back to that teacher and get extra credit to raise my grade so that I could say I had straight A's for the year. Having those kinds of expectations put a lot of pressure on me, and it made me afraid to try anything new that I didn't think I could excel at. It made me really hard on myself and not have a lot of confidence in my own strengths and abilities. In addition to that, I was taught to be a people pleaser, that you should want everyone to like you, that it matters what people think of you, and that you should get along with everyone, even if it means doing things that you don't want to do. And by the way, I do love burritos. Koreans are very agreeable people who don't always stand up for themselves and what they believe in. So in addition to those cultural messages, I had a very set idea of what a leader should be. It was a very stereotypical image, think about your famous CEOs and military leaders and politicians. So first of all, it was male. It was tough, bold, assertive, driven, extroverted, decisive, the center of attention, someone who doesn't care what other people think. In short, characteristics I really didn't see in myself. So how did I end up in a leadership position? Well, it feels like a total accident. So in my first real job out of graduate school, I found myself quickly becoming one of the more senior staff people on the team because of turnover, which means I was rapidly promoted to positions of greater responsibility. And when that job became stressful, I found another job that fit really well with my interests. It came with the title assistant director, which made me a little bit nervous, but I saw that as a support role, which I've always felt more comfortable in. And then when I married a Richmonder and moved to Richmond, I found myself looking for a new job. And I was definitely not looking for a jump up in responsibility, but I found a really good fit with my current position. Still, the title executive director is what scared me the most about the job and still scares me today. Throughout my career, I've suffered from imposter syndrome, this feeling that I'm a fraud, that I got to where I am out of sheer luck, and any minute now I'll be found out as not deserving of the position I'm in. So what have I done to address that fear? Well, a lot of self-reflection, particularly through programs like ALV, where my amazing cohorts of peers and mentors and friends have really helped me to better understand myself, my leadership style, and what it means to be a leader. And there have been many great lessons learned. One of the things that's been really emphasized to me is that leaders come in all different shapes and sizes. So you don't have to have all of those characteristics I listed off before, and it's not something you're born with. It's something you can learn, and it's really about how you use your own personal strengths and abilities in your interactions with others. I've also learned that some of the things that I thought were weaknesses could actually be strengths. So for example, getting those good grades means I'm hardworking and persistent and determined, which are obviously important skills in a leadership position. Being a people pleaser means that I'm sensitive to other people's needs, I'm a good listener, and I'm a good cheerleader for my colleagues. I emphasize teamwork over my own personal achievement, and I'm really dedicated to building a strong network within my community. I've also always thought of myself as indecisive, but I'm finding that I'm just logical and reflective in my decision-making process. So I'm not the one that shouts out my ideas first or the loudest, but I can listen, reflect, synthesize, and come up with ideas at my own pace. I'm also learning to enjoy the small victories. Not everything in a leadership position is going to be a bold new idea or a big win. There are a lot of baby steps that get you to a bigger goal. So this leadership project, journey project, has really given me a lot of time to reflect on some uncomfortable emotions. And I know that's going to make me a better leader. In fact, I'm finally becoming comfortable in saying that I am a leader. So thank you for going on this leadership journey with me.
Thank you, Susan. Very good. That was an A+. You're keeping. Next up, Chris Nord is in the house. This is her house. Chris is the Director of National Accounts handling the Virginia Association market. Here we are.
Yes.
This is our market. And has been our gracious host here at the Homestead. With that, Chris's mantra is laughter is the best medicine. And here she is, Dr. Nord.
Okay, so you have to give me a second here. I need to turn my baseball cap around. Professional, whoop, fun. Okay. I am a craft beer girl. Most of the images that you will see are of my personal experiences, and I hope I inspire others to explore or further explore the world of craft beer. My passion started when I visited the UK. The wide variety of beers were unlike anything I experienced in the US. It was Budweiser, get out of my way. There was no better way to experience beers than to self-drive your own canal boat in the UK, visiting small breweries around the way. And then fast forward to the US today, and we have over 7,300 craft breweries. So craft brewers in 2018 brewed over 25 million barrels of beer. Where the beer market is down by 1%, craft beer is up over 13%. So what is a craft brewery? They have to make less than 6 million barrels of beer in a year and have to be independent, meaning that no more than 25% of the brewery can be owned by another alcohol beverage company, such as Anheuser-Busch. The 4 main ingredients: water, hops, barley, and yeast. Craft brewers, though, use traditional and interesting and non-traditional ingredients to add distinctiveness, such as fruits, spices, cocoa, coffee beans, and more. Hardywood, one of my favorite breweries, was the first brewery in Virginia to be powered 100% by renewable energy, solar, biomass, wind, and they work with local farmers to reuse the spent grains for compost and feed. Also, craft brewers work a lot with their local communities, whether it is volunteerism, charities, product donations, or sponsorship of other events. The majority of Americans within the US are within 10 miles of at least one brewery. So try a beer festival, or 2 or 10. It's a wide sampling of beers you can try: stouts, porters, wheats or sours. And this pretty little red one that you saw was a cucumber hibiscus goza. Or go to your nearby craft brewery and try a flight. The staff tend to be very knowledgeable and can provide direction, or bring a friend who is well informed. Or you can attend beer outings like the one I did last fall in Scott's Edition. You may recognize a few faces there. Okay, so IPAs, hoppy versus bitter. A lot of people will say, I don't like a hoppy beer, but maybe what they mean is they don't like a bitter beer. What a hoppy beer means is it just showcases the flavor and the aroma of the hops. Craft brewers are intentionally using brewing methods where the hops then add flavor and scent. And what they do is they add the hops later in the brewing process, so the hops only add the flavor and the aroma. So the characteristics you may be experiencing are really the aroma and the taste. You would seem to think that IBUs would be higher. So you would think that beers that are higher in IBU would be more bitter than beers that have less IBUs, but that's not necessarily the case, because the malts that are in beers counteract the bitterness. So a beer that might be higher in malt may be less bitter. And this is an example with stouts that have a lot of malt in them. And so the next time you go to order a beer, you may say, you know what, I may like a hoppy beer, just please don't give me a bitter one. And then please try some beers. Take a sip or two and give your brain and palate a chance to catch up to each other, and then take another sip. And then once you find your path, do unique twists. Whether it is unique ingredients or beers aged in bourbon barrels or tequila barrels. I love a good tequila, but not beer aged in tequila barrels. So my challenge to the non-craft beer drinkers in this room is to go check out Bacova. It is the new brewery within walking distance of the Homestead. Or, as you depart, in the back of the room, we have samples of 3 different beers. We have, IPA, stout, and a Belgian white. And as the most interesting man in the world would say, when not drinking a peaty scotch, a hearty stout or porter will do nicely. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy. Back of the room.
Excellent, Chris. Don't rush off.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Give it a
Thank you.
and putting in some local talent. My goodness gracious. Thank you all. I'd like everybody to come on back up here, the whole Ignite group again. Come on. All the way over. Just line up. That's all right. May have some light in your eyes. But everybody rushes off. One more big applause for our 2019 Ignite folks. Thank you all. And thank you for attending. Be safe, be happy.